All right, good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the lab. Sitting with you, as always, you have in the dark up there, Brandon Wierig. Below me is
Da-da-da.
Alex Trotter, and I'm Lou Fullenkamp. We hope you guys enjoyed our discussion last week about training shoes. We hope some of you have started to wear the appropriate shoe wear when performing types of training, like speed and agility training with Brandon. Maybe some flat bottoms when you're lifting heavy with Alex. Today, what we're going to actually talk about is someone asked us to talk about different specialty bars. So I honestly haven't used a whole lot of the specialty bars, probably compared to you two. But just to name a few, kind of like we were talking about before, the cambered bar, a bamboo bar. Um, you can have the buffalo bar, tsunami bar, the football bar, curl bar, and am I missing any? Oh, the safety
Yeah.
squat bar.
Safety
Was
squat
that it?
bar, giant cambered bar, Mars bar,
Mm-hmm.
um, yeah, bamboo bar. Um, sure, there's a couple others.
Easy bar.
Easy bar, yeah.
Oh man. Okay. So where do you guys want to start with this? Because someone asked us to just kind of talk about, um, I guess, different specialty bars, what maybe some of their uses would be, or maybe um, what are maybe some hazards of using particular bars with particular movements. Like, I think, can't remember who I was talking to. I actually tried, I think it was you. You were telling me about the, oh gosh, the, like a
Giant
barbell with
cam-
a big, yeah, the one with the big, for good mornings. Lord help me today.
Mars bar,
I think it might have been
giant cambered bar, probably.
yeah, for good mornings, because I was using a safety squat bar, and you were man, I can't remember how long ago this was, but I'd gone to work out with you that one time. It was my first time ever getting to get underneath a giant cambered bar, and just how much it sucked, but it was also so much fun.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess
Why
I
don't we
can just
start
kind of
there?
go through a list.
Mm-hmm.
So with like a giant camber bar, it's just like a straight bar, and then it'll drop down, and then
Mm-hmm.
the weights will sit on the sleeves out pretty close to your hips. So a lot of it's like stability going like front to back. So you got to really
Mm-hmm.
be locked in and make sure your movement pattern isn't in like a J or anything like that. So you got to sit down, sit straight back up. But uh, I mean, first and foremost, all of the specialty bars, they're specialty bars. They're tools to get better at the straight bar movement, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
injury like workaround kind of thing. So with the giant camber bar, you really like that because that'll sit on your back just like a straight bar would. So you can get like used to it, I guess. So I like doing that one with a lot of like box squats or I guess free squats too. Um, Bands with that one, you usually have to put the bands over the plates, which become very like heavy band tension right out of the rip. I think Brandon came the one day when we
Yeah.
did blue bands underneath like or over top of two plates, and it's real. Like as soon as those bands goes on, it gets real. Uh,
Put me on my ass first time.
yeah, yeah, and I mean it's one of those where like I can try to describe it, but until you get under it, you're not going to understand like exactly how hard you have to brace on that thing. I really like it for good mornings.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so I do like it with that. Then like if we moved into like a Mars bar, think about a safety squat bar, but
Mm-hmm.
it's longer. So the pad comes up and over your shoulder, probably sits about here, give or take, and then it sits on the same on like the back end. So it sits a
Mm-hmm.
little bit lower on your back. That's able just to like disperse the weight a little bit more. So what I would personally do is like a lot of people that have like torn pecs or um, lat surgery, bicep surgery, anything to do with like elbow down kind of thing, they can use that bar. Um, I really like that one. Not so much for squats, just because of especially in like in a mono lift when you go to stand up with it, your head hits.
Ooh.
So there's just not a lot of like room between like the J hooks and the top of the mono. So that one, like I liked it. Like I'm very good with that one. Like I hit my heaviest good morning with that. I'd done 725 on a good morning on that bar, but it's just because it worked to my leverages. So
Jesus.
yeah, that was pretty heavy. But then like yeah, you can use like the safety squat bar. I really like that one as far as like your upper back strength, and it's also
Mhm.
going to put a lot of emphasis on your quads too, which you don't really think that you would. But just because of the way that it pitches forward and rounds you over, you really got to focus on driving your upper back into that and holding that like isometrically.
Mhm.
So there's that one. Yeah, the bow bar, it just like it takes like a natural curve on your back, which if you're strong enough and you get up into like really heavy weights, the bar is going to bend as the weights go up. So it kind of simulates like where that bar position is going to feel like, when you're up into the higher numbers with a straight bar. So I really like that one from the sense of like shoulder tightness. So if you have like shoulder impingement or like you just simply can't get your arms back like that, then that bow bar is really going to help you out because it sits different and you can really low bar that one too. So I know Brandon likes that one. Yeah. It sits nice and pretty. Trying to think of what else. I think that's everything for the squat, right? As far as the bars go.
Yeah, I mean safety squat bar, but I mean you've already talked about like the Mars bar and
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Safety squat bar is like, I touched on it briefly. Like you really got to use your upper back. It's, yeah. Now that one is tough because if you set it like too high up on your neck, like it will turn the lights out. So you really got to like focus on digging in there. Yeah. So there's one that's like now retired that Lou talked about all the time, where the angle of it or whatever, he like couldn't look up anymore, and he just blames that bar entirely. So as far as like bench bars goes, you can have a football bar, so that's going to turn your hands more into neutral. It's going to put more emphasis on your triceps. So if you're really lacking in the tricep development area, be a good idea to practice with that one. It's also going to take a lot of tension off of your pecs and that like that shoulder girdle. So you kind of like work around that a little bit. And then it's got 3 different grips to it, so that helps. Bamboo bar, that's just it's literally like a bamboo tree. So to an extent, it's just going to be super shaky. So you're going to hang like kettlebells from it with like bands, and that's going to work like a lot of your stability muscles. It's going to shake all over the place. So you need to really lock it in, make sure that your stabilizer muscles are solid. The tsunami bar, you can put like regular weights on there and it's going to flex a lot. So you're going to get a lot of whip in the bar. So your up and down stabilizers are going to be used quite heavily on that one too. Man, I really think that might have been all the specialty bars. Maybe.
I was gonna say, just going right through the list.
Yeah. I mean, you have like those random one-off ones, like I guess technically a trap bar would be a specialty bar, I guess. But
Yeah.
I mean, you can make
Traditional
an argument.
deadlift bar versus the Olympic bar and things like that.
Right. Yeah, I mean, if you're really going to do that, or like you can get like a stiff bar rather than like a deadlift bar. So a deadlift bar is going to have a little bit of whip to it. A deadlift bar is smaller than a regular bar by a millimeter. And then usually with the deadlift bar, you're not going to have like a center knurling in the middle. So it's just going to be bare metal. So there's that. Can't really think of what else.
Yeah, that's one indicator from like a squat bar from an Olympic bar. Yeah, the Olympic bar is going to have that bare center, then the squat bar will have the knurling right in the middle, where your upper back digs into.
Yep.
For some kids that try to hang clean with squat bars, it's not going to work out very well. Or front squat with a squat bar, digging that knurling into your throat. It's not the best idea.
I'm sure that feels fantastic.
Builds character.
Yeah, free shave,
Now, usually like squat bars too, not so much in like some federations, but a lot of squat bars, they'll be 60 or 65 pounds. So they're a lot thicker.
Mhm.
So if you're not used to that and you go to a powerlifting meet and all of a sudden you think that you're, squatting with a fat bar on your back, then that's why. You just haven't been training with the correct bar. Um,
Hmm.
and then like they also make like 50-pound bench bars that are super solid. So I know like little plug, but like Rob Farrell over at F8 Customs, he makes like the greatest bench bar you'll ever use. I know Jimmy Kolb has benched like over 1,400 on that bar, and it doesn't like flex at all. So he's a very strong individual. But yeah, I mean, when you're handling like really heavy weights like that, any movement or any oscillation in the bar, it's going to be awful. Like you
Yeah.
can't stop it, you can't control it. It's going to like whip you around, and it's like a really scary feeling, if you will, because you can't stop it. You just know you're at the mercy of this bar and gravity, and you don't know when it's gonna go.
Yeah, it sounds horrendous. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be oh my god. I can't even imagine putting that on my body, let alone benching it. Like that's insane.
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah, he's a very impressive human being.
Yeah, it's superhuman. Holy crap.
Yeah.
Damn.
But I mean, Rob, like the inventor, like I call him the best bencher ever to exist in powerlifting. I believe that he's benched 1,000 at 181, 198, 220, and 242. He may have done it in the 275, but I don't know if his body could have got over 242 because he's kind of shorter, but like he's a brick shit house. He's just ridiculously strong.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. That's pound for pound. That's nuts.
Oh, dude, it's insane how strong this guy is.
Wow.
Yeah. And I mean his like raw bench press too. Like I mean he's benched 500 for over a decade, 15 years, something like that. So he's strong, and he's just a good human overall too. All right, enough about that guy.
So, are there any particular bars you guys find yourselves using more often in your training, or maybe like with training the kids now?
We got a lot of overhead athletes, so we definitely utilize the squat bar or the safety squat bar a lot. Just kind of put their shoulders in that kind of more natural setting. Anytime you can take stress off a joint when you're lifting, I mean that's ideal. So whether it be that or whether it be the football bar for a lot of our overhead athletes too, volleyball, baseball, softball, things like that. So
yeah, bamboo bar is getting incorporated a little bit too with a lot of our overhead athletes as well. I think like later on, if Santa is able to bless us with a giant camber bar, then I think that one's going to be like a pretty good staple in there. I think a lot of the times too, some of the specialty bars like they're not going to fit certain athletes. So like if you're not very thick, like front to back, then that safety squat bar could come off your back pretty quickly if you're doing like Hatfield squats. So shout out Abby, she's took that sucker for a ride to the floor one day.
Oh my sweet baby Jesus! Everyone okay?
Yeah,
Maybe
she's tough.
pride.
She'll walk it off.
Pride's a little hurt, maybe, but okay.
Nah, she'll be all right.
Oh my gosh. I definitely think one of the things I'd like to see more of with people is actually getting into like the bamboo and the tsunami bars for like the stability aspect of things. That would be one I would love to have in the clinic more often. Like I think that needs to be, especially like for overhead, like you're already saying, overhead athletes. You guys are trying to make it so like you don't have to put pressure on a joint. Well, what about making like rotator cuff working that much harder with a lighter load? Why not?
Yeah.
I'm
You can
curious.
simulate it with a PVC pipe if you want.
Yeah, I've done that in the past. It's not as fun.
Yeah,
not nearly as fun.
we did that for 2 years, probably.
don't go past them yellows.
Yeah.
Oh man. No, that was good, Trotter. You went full on list on us. I love that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I've been very blessed. Like I was introduced to a lot of specialty bars from the get go. You know,
Mhm.
so like first specialty bar I ever used was probably in 2014, something along
Mhm.
those lines. So, oh my God, it's almost been a decade. Jesus Christ.
Old.
Shit.
Old ass man.
Yeah. But they allow you to continue to work. I think it helps pull like the monotony of training around as well. You know, because
Mhm.
you have a PR with, you know, let's just say the straight bar, for example. So you have, you know, you can do straight bar variation with just straight weight. You can throw a
Mhm.
box in there. You can throw a low box in there. You can throw bands on there. You can throw bands from the front. You can throw bands like from the top. So like a reverse band or
Mhm.
like chains. So you got, how many was that? 7. You have 7 different PRs that you can work off of. Well,
Mhm.
you know, say you squat once a week, then you're only good for 7 weeks. So where's the rest of the 52? Like in your calendar year.
Mhm.
So then you can play with them like that. So you can just swap the bars. Um, yeah, and really just like attack your weaknesses without necessarily like, you know, if your upper back is like weak, then
Mhm.
you can just hammer like safety squat bar or um, you know, like a low bar or even a high bar, I guess technically,
Mhm.
placement on your back. So then that gets away from the monotony of doing shrugs or, you know, rows, stuff like that.
So, in your guys' opinion, like, because you guys have worked now with a few different brands, so like for example, Sorenix, Rogue, Titan. Who do you guys think, I guess, makes the better, like, particular specialty bar? So, like, safety squat bar. You guys have had. You guys have Titan, and you guys had the Rogue one, correct?
We have a
Yeah.
Titan safety bar, then we have like the Spray Fitness safety bar, which is
Yeah.
very much trash.
Yeah. Yeah. I would go number one safety squat bar is Elite FTS's. Um,
Okay.
just because they have a double pad in theirs.
Hmm.
So like it doesn't wear down as much
Mhm.
or as quickly. And then I'd probably go Titan. Titan be like your second best. Um,
Okay.
would be
It's a
my
solid
opinion.
bar.
Yeah, it's a solid one. Yeah.
Then who makes all the cambered bars?
Usually those are specialty bars. So Rogue makes like a rackable cambered bar. I
Mhm.
don't find it as beneficial as like the one that I was describing.
Mhm.
The one that I was describing, you can only use with a mono lift
Okay.
because of the way that the bar sits. It won't fit in a rack. So you usually have to like custom make those. West Side used to make them. I don't know if they do anymore. And then Lexan Extreme is the gym name, and I think it's called like Lexan Ironworkers. They uh,
Okay.
they make them like customized for you.
If someone wanted to go like buy these specialty bars, where would be like the top 3 companies people could look at for these? I know you said Elite FTS, Rogue, Sorinex,
Pro-
obviously.
yeah, I'd probably say Elite FTS
Elite
would be your
FTS.
best bet. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, they're gonna have pretty much if you've ever seen it in a gym, they probably have it.
Okay. I was kind of curious because honestly, I don't think I've ever touched Elite FTS's equipment before. I've used Sorinex, I've used Rogue, I've used Titan. Um, yeah, theirs is, yeah, I've never used theirs before.
Yeah,
Um,
the
be
squat
fun to
bar
try.
that I have in the gym, it's a 60-pound bar, and it's an Elite FTS one. It's called the Mastodon bar, so it's a little bit thicker, a lot denser, obviously.
Hmm.
So
Okay. Dude. Anything else you guys want to add on the discussion for specialty bars today?
no, I just talk the whole freaking time.
Alex took that solo.
I was gonna say I love that. That
I'm
was
just here
awesome.
for good looks.
That's my
Made it
bad.
so easy for us tonight, buddy. You did good.
Got to throw him a bone every once in a while.
Yeah, thanks.
You did good. No, I guess before we close out today's episode, guys, make sure you guys are going onto the Instagram page. for the lab, but then also make sure you guys are checking out No Name Athletics, where you can catch Brandon and Alex's Free Tip Friday. And are you guys going to start a Free Tip Tuesday?
I just got annoyed today, so I had to throw one out there.
Why were you annoyed? Never mind. You don't have to tell me. I'll ask you later.
Just coaches being idiots. Like they all claim that like, oh, the boxes are going to be there in a game day. No shit. Neither is anything else. Like we put our athletes in situational situations, even during their lifting. But like they don't need to know that. Like the athlete doesn't need to know that unless they truly want to know, right? But like for us to sit here and describe all of the scientific background and research and why we're doing what we're doing, we would never get through training any of the classes. Like with how many kids come up, I mean, it's dang near a line, like all the time. Like, hey, what's this do? Or how do I do this again? Which isn't a shot towards them. Like they don't know yet. You know, they're still learning. But it's not their job to learn this stuff. It's our job to teach it. So then they can execute and do the stuff that they want to do and have fun and they're good at, and then shit on everybody else's kids. So that's what we're here for. Help you shit on others.
Oh man, tell me how you really feel, Alex.
Yeah. So if you can't do a box squat, then don't fucking teach a box squat. Pretty simple.
Shots fired. Shots fired.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to,
continue to
talk with
dominate
Alex, talk
yours.
with Alex.
No, don't talk to me because you're clearly. It's like I'd rather talk to a wall.
All right. Well, going back to my original point before I riled you up, make sure you guys are following No Name Athletics. Following the lab, we'll be posting the episodes and different things there. Also, if you haven't yet, make sure you guys go on to the YouTube channel. Make sure you guys give us a follow there, subscribe, hit the notification bell. But we'll see you guys in the next episode.